Good morning, America. It's good to be here with you this morning as we take you through this Thursday. Something that should have been a fun celebration has left Kansas City and the nation heartbroken.
What a scene that was. Many of the witnesses we spoke to in Kansas City told us they thought they were hearing fireworks when the gunshots went off. Fans who gathered in the city with their families were forced to shift into panic mode. One hospital, Children's Mercy, is treating 12 patients from the rally. 11 are children. 9 of the 12 have gunshot wounds.
At least one person we know was killed. Kansas City radio DJ Lisa Lopez Galvan. 3 people were detained, and police are still trying to piece together what happened. Alex Perez, who attended the Super Bowl parade, is there for us on the scene in Kansas City. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. You can see behind me here, this is still an active crime scene. Investigators are still here. The victory rally had just ended. Players were exiting the stage when the terrifying chaos began. This morning, an investigation underway after a day of celebration turned deadly. Gunshots erupting in a crowd of nearly 1 million people outside Union Station in Kansas City. They're celebrating the Chiefs' Super Bowl win.
Red Chiefs fans on the west side of the stage on the grass area. I don't want to see now gunshot.
Such a joyous moment for the city and the bringing everyone together, and then in a split second, it's all ruined.
21 people shot, 1 person killed. The ordeal unfolding Wednesday afternoon, just as the Chiefs' victory rally was ending. Terrified fans running for their lives, jumping barriers.
I was standing watching the stage, and the shots were fired, and then everybody just started running.
All of a sudden, it sounded like fireworks, and we're like, oh, okay. And then my daughter yelled, get down, get down.
Roughly 800 members of law enforcement were present, all rushing to the scene as police snipers scanned the crowd from rooftops. That fatal victim, identified as Kansas City radio host Lisa Lopez Galvan, a local DJ and mother of 2.
Today in Kansas City was a day to celebrate. We woke up this morning excited, and the last thing we ever expected was to have a tragedy in our family.
Her brother, Beto Lopez, talking to GMA overnight.
This is another example of a real loving, real human whose life was taken tragically with a senseless act.
Police detaining 3 people of interest and recovering at least 1 firearm.
Right now we do not have a motive, but we are asking those who may potentially have any kind of information, a witness or video, to contact police.
And this morning, harrowing stories from brave bystanders, Paul Contreras and Trey Filter, seen in this video taking down a man believed to be a suspect as he fled the scene.
I didn't hesitate. It was just do it. So I went to go tackle him, and another gentleman did the same thing.
The heroes restraining that person until officers arrived. This video capturing officers subduing him.
I just feel we did what was the right thing, what we had to do.
Among those shot, several children, some as young as 6.
The one word I would just use to describe what we saw and how they felt when they came to us was fear.
The Chiefs confirming no players or staff were injured. And the FBI is now working with local authorities on this. Again, they're asking any bystanders who may have video of the incident to contact police. An exact motive remains under investigation. Michael?
All right, Alex, thank you so much for that. And joining us now are Trey Filter and his wife, Casey, who took down a suspected shooter. First off, you want to say good morning to you both. Thank you both for being with us. And how are you both doing this morning?
Good morning.
Hey. Thanks for having us. We're just super tired and a little overwhelmed with kind of everything coming to light, after yesterday. We're hearing about all the, all the victims, and it's a pretty sobering situation.
Yeah, that definitely sobering and something that should have been a celebration and turned into a tragedy. But Trey, what you did was actually really remarkable, both of you. You actually tackled one of the alleged gunmen. So please, can you talk us through that?
Well, it was quite I mean, there was a lot of commotion. I could definitely tell that, someone was being chased. Couldn't see much. I heard that get him. I saw a flash next to me, and I remember I jumped and remember thinking, I hope this is the who they were talking about. So that me and that gentleman got pretty, we were pretty elated once we knew we had him. And they started yelling that there's a gun, there's a gun. So we were pretty steadfast in holding him down there and, just trying to take care of our butts there.
And so your instincts basically kicked in. And Casey, you secured the gun. What was your first thought when you saw the gun on the ground?
Just to get it away from what was happening. And that was just my first thought. I didn't really think about much else. It was heavy. At first, I actually thought it looked like a toy, but then once I picked it up, I quickly realized it definitely was not.
There definitely was not a toy. And Trey, you held that gunman down until the police arrived. What was that like, waiting for them to get there? Did the person that you were holding down say anything to you? And what did the officer say to you once they got there?
Well, we just made it very clear that he wasn't allowed to move. He didn't have much to say. I remember the officers pulling my feet off of him. And at that point, I was just looking for my wife and kids. So,
yeah, as you mentioned, your kids were there with both of you and watching this whole thing unfolded. And Casey, what was running through your mind while you're watching all of this going on?
What in the world has just happened? What's going on? I really didn't. There honestly was not much to think about except just my husband and my kids and that gun I saw, obviously. I was just wanting everyone to be safe. That was my main concern.
Well, I think you both helped that happen, but do your kids, you mentioned your kids, do they understand what happened? Do they understand the role that both of you played in this?
I think we're all starting to understand what happened. We live in Wichita, Kansas, 3 hours away from Kansas City. So we had a 3-hour drive on the way back, kind of realizing, all that had taken place. We were being interviewed before we could let our dogs out of outside once we got home. So it's been pretty fast paced here for us, and I'm sure for the kids as well. This might equal just another half day out of school possibly for them. So
they are pretty proud of their dog. That is a fact.
Well, I can tell you what we heard in that piece that we ran before you came on, calling you heroes, and I've got to say we definitely second that here in our GMA studio. So thank you both for joining us this morning. We're glad you're both okay. We're glad your kids are okay, and our prayers are with everyone else there in Kansas City and all the fans out there, because this celebration that turned into a tragedy. So thank you so much for being with us.